Okay, in this review we're going to do systems by graphing. And so on the first problem here, the first thing you need to do is rewrite to get y equals mx plus b. So on the first one we're going to subtract x from both sides, and I wind up with y equals negative x minus 4. Alright, so remember this is my y-intercept. My slope is the number here, so this will be negative 1 over 1. So I'm going to start at negative 4. And I'm going to go up 1 over 1, and I'm going to go to the left because it is a negative. So, and draw my line, put arrows on the end. Alright, so I have one line graphed. So then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to write it in y equals mx plus b, subtract 5x from both sides. I want it with minus y equals negative 5x minus 2. I cannot have a negative variable, so I'm going to divide by negative 1. And I want it with y is equal to 5x plus 2. So my y-intercept here is positive 2. And my slope here is 5 over 1. So I'm going to start at positive 2. Going to count down here. We're going to go, our slope is 5 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. Draw my line. Put arrows on the end. This is my solution. Make sure you label it. So my solution here is negative 1, negative 3. Okay. Our second solution is already in, our second problem is already in y equals mx plus b, so we just need to graph it. So here's my y-intercept. My slope is negative 3 over 1. So I'm going to start at positive 4. I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the right because I want it to be negative. 1, 2, 3 over 1. Sketch the line. Put arrows on the end. Okay, my next one here, if I look at this, 6 divided by 2, I can get, this becomes negative 3, and this becomes negative plus 4 if I simplify that. So I look at this and it's like, okay, that is the exact same line. So since it's the same line, there are infinite number of solutions. Okay, because they're on top of each other. So that's infinite solutions. Alright, remember if you wind up having a system where you have parallel lines, where they don't cross, they have the same slope, a different intercept here. This would be different intercept. This is a no solution. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're graphing. Alright, I'm just going to write no solution. Alright, so here we have a quadratic equation and a linear equation. So I'm going to go ahead and graph my linear equation because it's in y equals mx plus b. My y-intercept is positive 1. My slope is negative 2 over 1. I go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. Graph the line. Okay, so I have my line here. Now I need to graph my quadratic. So remember back when we graph these, we could always just make a quick table of values. Alright, so if I put 0 in, I know my y-intercept is going to be 2. So we're going to start 0, 2 here. And I'm going to graph. So what's going on at 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2. So let's see, at 1, I'm at 1 squared plus 2. That's 1, so that gives me 3. 2 squared plus 2 would give me 6. And I should be symmetrical, so this is going to be 3 and 6. So at negative 2, I'm at positive 6. Okay, at negative 1, I'm 3. At 0, I'm 2, there I'm in. And then positive 1, I'm a 2. And 2, I'm at 6. So if I graph this very carefully, see that I have an intersection right here at that point. So my intersection there would be positive, negative 1, comma 3. Okay, so that would be my intersection there. Alright, in our last example here, I notice I have a quadratic and a radical. So you're going to need to make a table of values for each one. So I'm going to start with the radical here. I know you need to start with what value makes this 0. So I would start with 0 and then go up. So the square root of 0 plus 1 is 1. Okay, 1. The square root of 1 plus 1 is 2. Now I'm going to look for my perfect square. So it'll be 4. So the square root of 4 is 2 plus 1 will give me 3. And then the next one is 9. The square root of 9 plus 1 will give me 3 plus 1 will be 4. But I don't have a 9 on here, so I'm going to stop. But if I wanted to graph this, at 0 I'm at 1, at 1 I'm at 2, 2 I'm at 3, and on at 0 I'm at 1, 1 I'm at 2, at 4 I'm at 3, and then up here at 9 I would be at 4. So my graph looks something like that. Okay, so that's my square root function. So I know that if I put 0 in for x, it always gives me my y-intercept, so I'm going to get positive 3. So I want to know what's happening at 1 and 2. So I'm going to put the negative on the outside. 1 squared plus 3. This would be negative 1 plus 3 gives me 2. This would be negative 4 plus 1 is going to give me negative 1. And I know I'm going to be symmetrical about the vertex there. So this would be negative 1, negative 2. So at negative 2, I'm at negative 1. Negative 1, I'm positive 2. 0, I'm at 3. 1, I'm at 2. And at 2, I'm at negative 1. So my graph goes like this. So there's my intersection here at 1, 2. That will be my intersection. So remember, anytime you have a nonlinear, a quadratic, or a radical in there, the best thing to do is just make a table of values. If you have any questions on these, ask me tomorrow in class, or good luck with your reviews.